The grand halls of the Galactic Council buzzed with activity. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved about, their voices a mix of different languages. In the middle of this chaos stood Aria, a young human diplomat. She looked small next to the tall, four-armed Xartians and the floating jellyfish-like Medrins, but her eyes were sharp and determined. Aria took a deep breath. Today was important. She had to speak for all humans. She had to change how the galaxy saw her people. It wasn't an easy task. For years, humans were called cowards. Other species laughed at them. They thought humans were weak. As Aria walked to the speaking area, she heard whispers. "Look, it's one of those humans. I heard they run from every fight. Why are they even in the council?" Aria clenched her fists but kept walking. She knew the truth. Humans weren't cowards. They just didn't like unnecessary fights. They preferred peace. But the aliens didn't understand this. To them, not fighting meant being scared. The council leader, a tall blue alien named Zorn, called for quiet. "We will now hear from the human representative," he said. His voice was cold. He didn't expect much from Aria. Aria stepped up to the speaking platform. She looked at the sea of alien faces. Some looked bored. Others looked angry. A few looked curious. Aria started to speak. "Fellow members of the Galactic Council," she began. Her voice was clear and strong. "I stand before you today to talk about courage, about bravery, about what it truly means to be strong." Some aliens laughed. A big, rocky alien shouted, "What do humans know about courage?" Aria didn't let this stop her. "We know that true courage isn't about fighting every battle. It's about choosing the right battles. It's about protecting the weak. It's about standing up for what's right, even when it's hard." The room got quieter. Some aliens were listening now. Aria continued, "Humans have a long history of bravery. We've faced disasters, wars, and hardships. We've explored our entire planet, from the highest mountains to the deepest oceans. We've even left our world to explore space." She paused, looking around the room. "But we've also learned that violence isn't always the answer. That peace can be stronger than war. That words can be more powerful than weapons." Some aliens nodded. Others still looked doubtful. Aria knew she was making progress, but it wasn't enough. She needed something bigger to change their minds. Just then, alarms started blaring. Red lights flashed all over the council hall. Zorn's assistant ran in, looking scared. "We're under attack," he shouted. "Unknown ships are entering our space." Panic spread through the room. Aliens started running around, shouting in fear. But Aria stood still. She saw a chance to prove what humans could do. She raised her voice over the chaos. "Everyone, please calm down," she shouted. Surprisingly, many aliens stopped to listen. "We need to think clearly. Panicking won't help." Aria turned to Zorn. "Sir, let me contact Earth. We have ships nearby. They can help defend the council." Zorn looked surprised. "You would fight for us, even after how we've treated you?" Aria nodded firmly. "That's what humans do. We help those in need, no matter what." For the first time, Zorn smiled at Aria. "Very well," he said. "Make the call." As Aria used her communicator to call for help, she saw the aliens watching her. Their eyes were wide with surprise and new respect. She knew this was just the beginning. Humans would show the galaxy what true courage meant. And it started here, with this crisis. The first part of the human story in the stars was about to be written. And Aria was ready to make sure it was a story of bravery, compassion, and hope. The Galactic Council's main hall was now a center of frantic activity. Screens all around showed the approaching enemy ships. They were unlike anything anyone had seen before. Black, sleek, and moving fast. Aria stood with the other leaders, her face serious. "What are they?" asked a small green alien with big eyes. No one had an answer. The unknown ships didn't respond to any messages. They just kept coming. "Zorn, The council leader looked worried. "We need to decide what to do," he said. "Fast." Different alien species started arguing. Some wanted to fight. Others wanted to run away. A few suggested trying to talk to the strangers again. In the middle of this chaos, Arya noticed something strange. The enemy ships were avoiding human space. They attacked everyone else, but not the humans. Why? She walked up to Zorn. "Sir," she said, "I think I found something important." Zorn looked at her, surprised. He wasn't used to humans having useful ideas. "What is it?" he asked. Arya pointed to the big map on the main screen. "Look," she said, "the ships are attacking everyone, but they're staying away from human areas." "Why?" The room went quiet. Everyone looked at the map. Arya was right. A tall, skinny alien with 4 arms spoke up. "Maybe they're afraid of humans," he said. Some aliens laughed, but not many. Zorn thought for a moment. "Or maybe," he said slowly, "they know something about humans that we don't." Arya felt a chill. What could these strangers know about humans? And why did it make them stay away? Just then, a loud boom shook the building. The enemy ships were attacking the council planet. "We need to evacuate," someone shouted. Aliens started running around in panic. But Arya had an idea. "Wait," she shouted. Everyone stopped and looked at her. "What if we go to Earth? The enemy ships aren't going there. We could be safe." Zorn looked at Arya with new respect. "That's not a bad idea," he said. "But will your people let us come?" Arya nodded firmly. "Humans help those in need," she said. "It's what we do." As the council leaders agreed to go to Earth, Arya felt both proud and worried. She was glad they were trusting humans now. But she was scared about what was coming. The trip to Earth was tense. Alien ships, full of scared council members, flew next to human ships. Arya was in the main ship with Zorn and other important aliens. As they flew, Arya learned more about the enemy. They called themselves the Void. They had appeared suddenly, attacking everyone. No one knew what they wanted. But why are they afraid of humans? Arya wondered out loud. An old alien with white fur answered her. "Maybe," he said, "it's not fear. Maybe it's respect." This made Arya think. What had humans done to earn the Void's respect? And was it a good thing? As they got closer to Earth, Arya saw her home planet. The blue and green ball looked peaceful. But for how long? They landed in a big field. Human soldiers were there to meet them. Arya saw the aliens looking nervous. They weren't used to seeing so many humans. A tall human man walked up to them. He wore a uniform with many medals. "Welcome to Earth," he said. "I'm General Chen. We're here to help." Zorn stepped forward. He looked both grateful and unsure. "Thank you," he said. We didn't expect such kindness from humans." General Chen smiled. "Well," he said, "maybe it's time you learn more about us." As they walked to the big buildings nearby, Arya felt hopeful. This was a chance to show the real human spirit to the galaxy. But a part of her was still worried. The Void was out there. And somehow, humans were the key to this mystery. She just hoped they were ready for what was coming. The future of not just Earth, but the whole galaxy, might depend on what humans did next. The United Nations building in New York was busier than ever before. Leaders from all over Earth had come for an emergency meeting. But this time, they weren't alone. Alien leaders from the Galactic Council were there too. Arya stood near the back of the big room. She watched as human and alien leaders talked. Some looked scared. Others looked angry. A few looked excited. The president of the World Council, Maria Lopez, stood up. The room got quiet. "We are here today," she said, "to make a big decision. The galaxy is in danger. The Void is attacking everyone. Everyone except us, humans." Murmurs filled the room. Arya saw some aliens looking at humans with new eyes. President Lopez continued, We have two choices. We can stay safe on Earth and let the galaxy fall. Or we can fight. A man in a military uniform stood up. Madam President, he said, fighting the void is dangerous. We don't know how strong they are. We could lose everything. An alien leader, the one with 4 arms, spoke next. But if you don't fight, he said, we will all lose. The void will take over everything. The room erupted in arguments. Human and alien voices mixed together. Some wanted to fight. Others wanted to stay safe on Earth. Arya felt torn. She knew fighting was risky. But could humans really sit back and watch the galaxy burn? Suddenly, an old woman stood up. Everyone got quiet. Arya recognized her as Dr. Emily Chen, a famous scientist. Friends, Dr. Chen said, I think I know why the void fears us. All eyes turned to her. Even the aliens leaned forward to listen. Humans are different, Dr. Chen explained. We feel fear, but we act anyway. We see impossible odds, but we try anyway. The void has never seen a species like us before. She paused, looking around the room. We are unpredictable. We are adaptable. And most importantly, we fight hardest when things look worst. The room was silent. Arya saw thoughtful looks on many faces, both human and alien. Dr. Chen continued, I think the void knows this. They know that if they push us, we will push back harder than they can imagine. President Lopes nodded slowly. So you're saying we should fight? I'm saying we're the only ones who can, Dr. Chen replied. The room burst into discussion again. But this time, it was different. Arya could feel a change in the air. People weren't arguing about whether to fight anymore. They were talking about how to fight. After hours of discussion, President Lopes called for a vote. All in favor of Earth joining the fight against the void. Raise your hands, she said. Slowly, hands started to go up. More and more. Humans and aliens together. Arya held her breath. In the end, the vote was clear. Earth would fight. As the meeting ended, Arya saw humans and aliens talking together, making plans, sharing ideas. It was something she never thought she'd see. An alien leader walked up to her. It was Zorn, the council leader. I must admit, he said, I never thought I'd see the day when we'd be glad to have humans in the galaxy. Arya smiled. We're full of surprises, she said. Zorn nodded. Indeed. And I think the void is about to be very surprised. As Arya left the building, she looked up at the sky. Somewhere up there, the void was waiting. But Earth was ready. Humans were ready. The fight for the galaxy was about to begin. And for the first time, Arya felt truly hopeful. Humans had been called cowards for so long. Now, they would show the galaxy what real courage looked like. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity. Earth had become the center of the galaxy's war efforts. Humans and aliens worked side by side, preparing for the fight against the void. Arya found herself in the middle of it all. She was now part of a special team, working to combine human and alien technologies. Their base was a huge underground facility in the Rocky Mountains. One day, Arya walked into the main lab. She saw something that made her stop and stare. A human soldier was wearing what looked like a mix of human and alien armor. What do you think? Asked Dr. Chen, walking up to Arya. It's amazing, Arya said. What is it? Dr. Chen smiled. We call it the hybrid suit. It combines the best of human and alien tech. The soldier moved around, showing off the suit. It was sleek and strong-looking. Arya could see parts that looked alien, but it moved like it was made for a human. The outer layer is made from Sartian metal, Dr. Chen explained. It's lighter than our strongest materials, but 10 times tougher. Arya nodded, impressed. And those glowing lines. Measuran energy conduits, Dr. Chen said. They boost the user's strength and speed. Just then, General Chen walked in. He looked at the soldier in the hybrid suit and nodded approvingly. How's the weapons development going? He asked Dr. Chen. "See for yourself," she replied, leading them to another part of the lab. There, Harriet saw rows of strange-looking guns and other weapons. Some were small enough to hold in one hand. Others were as big as a car. "This," Dr. Chen said, picking up a small device, "is our newest creation. We call it the Void Disruptor." General Chen looked skeptical. "How does it work?" Dr. Chen pressed a button, and the device hummed to life. "It creates a field that interferes with the Void's technology. Their ships can't function properly when hit with this." Arya's eyes widened. "That's incredible. How did you come up with this?" "It was a team effort," Dr. Chen said. "Human creativity combined with alien knowledge. We're stronger together than we ever were apart." As they walked through the lab, Arya saw more examples of this collaboration. Humans were learning to use alien computers. Aliens were studying human battle strategies. In one corner, a group of humans and aliens were gathered around a large holographic display. They were running battle simulations, testing different tactics against the Void. "We're not just preparing our weapons," General Chen explained. "We're training our minds. The Void thinks in ways we don't understand yet. We need to be ready for anything." Arya nodded. She could feel the energy in the air. Everyone was focused, determined. The fear she had seen weeks ago was gone, replaced by a strong sense of purpose. As they left the lab, Arya saw something that made her smile. A human scientist and Exartian engineer were arguing over a blueprint. But it wasn't an angry argument. They were passionate, excited, bouncing ideas off each other. "You know," Arya said to Dr. Chen, "a month ago, I never would have thought this was possible. Humans and aliens working together like this." Dr. Chen nodded. "That's the funny thing about facing a common enemy. It has a way of bringing people together, no matter how different they are." As they walked outside, Arya looked up at the sky. Somewhere up there, the Void was waiting. But Earth wasn't the same planet it had been when this all started. It was stronger now, united. "Do you think we're ready?" Arya asked. General Chen looked at her, his face serious but confident. "Ready? Maybe not entirely, but we're getting there. And when the time comes, we'll face the Void together, all of us." Arya nodded. The battle was coming, but for the first time, she felt like they had a real chance of winning. Humans, once called cowards, were now leading the charge to save the galaxy. And they weren't alone. They had allies, friends from across the stars. The Void had no idea what was coming for them. The day everyone had been preparing for finally arrived. Alarms blared across Earth's defense stations. The Void had entered the solar system. Arya stood in the command center, surrounded by screens showing the approaching enemy fleet. Her heart raced, but she kept her face calm. Around her, humans and aliens worked together, their movements quick but controlled. General Chen's voice boomed over the speakers. "All units, prepare for engagement. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill." Arya watched as Earth's combined fleet moved into position. Human ships flew alongside alien vessels, forming a defensive line around the planet. "First wave, launch," ordered General Chen. Hundreds of small, fast ships shot out from the larger vessels. Arya recognized the new hybrid fighters, piloted by both humans and aliens. They looked tiny compared to the massive Void ships, but Arya knew they packed a punch. The Void fleet came to a stop just outside Mars' orbit. For a moment, everything was still. Then, without warning, they attacked. Beams of dark energy shot out from the Void ships, aiming for Earth's fleet. But the defenders were ready. Shields flickered to life, most of the beams dissipating harmlessly. "Return fire," shouted General Chen. Earth's fleet responded. Lasers, missiles, and strange alien weapons Arya couldn't name all fired at once. The space between the two fleets lit up like a fireworks display. On one of the screens, Arya saw a squad of hybrid fighters diving towards a Void cruiser. They weaved through enemy fire, getting close to the massive ship. "Come on," Arya whispered, her fists clenched. The fighters released their payloads, a swarm of void disruptors. The devices latched onto the cruiser's hull and activated. Suddenly, the void ship's weapons went silent, its engines sputtering. A cheer went up in the command center. "It works," someone shouted. "The disruptors work." But the battle was far from over. More void ships moved in, their strange, dark forms seeming to absorb the light around them. "Second wave, move in," General Chen ordered. "Protect those fighters." Larger human and alien ships moved forward, providing cover for the smaller craft. Arya watched in awe as a human battleship and Exartian cruiser worked in perfect sync, their weapons creating a wall of fire that the void couldn't penetrate. Hours passed, but the battle showed no signs of stopping. Arya could see the strain on everyone's faces. They had trained for this, but the reality of combat was taking its toll. Suddenly, alarms blared again. "Void ships breaking through," someone shouted. "They're heading for Earth." Arya's heart sank. Had all their preparation been for nothing? But then she saw something that made her gasp. A group of human ships, led by a massive carrier, moved to intercept the void breakthrough. They were outnumbered and outgunned, but they didn't hesitate. "What are they doing?" asked a nearby alien officer. "They'll be destroyed." Arya shook her head, a small smile on her face. "Watch," she said. The human ships engaged the void fleet head-on, but instead of being destroyed, they executed a series of complex maneuvers. They danced around the larger void ships, confusing them, drawing their fire away from Earth. Other ships took advantage of the distraction, hitting the void vessels with everything they had. One by one, the enemy ships went dark. The command center erupted in cheers. Arya saw humans and aliens hugging each other, their differences forgotten in the joy of victory. General Chen's voice came over the speakers again. "The void fleet is retreating. I repeat, the enemy is in full retreat." Arya couldn't believe it. They had done it. They had faced the void and won. As the celebration continued around her, Arya looked at the main screen. The retreating void ships were tiny dots now, disappearing into the darkness of space. She knew this was just the beginning. The void would be back, probably stronger next time. But now, they knew something important. The void could be beaten. And humanity, once called cowards, had led the charge. They had shown the galaxy what true bravery looked like. Arya smiled. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, it looked bright. Weeks after the first battle, Earth was buzzing with activity. The victory had given everyone hope, but they knew the war was far from over. Arya found herself busier than ever, working to strengthen the alliance between humans and aliens. One morning, she walked into a strategy meeting and found the room tense. General Chen was speaking to a group of human and alien leaders. "The void has attacked 3 more systems," he said, pointing to a holographic map. "They're getting bolder." An alien leader, a tall being with shimmering scales, spoke up. "We need to take the fight to them. We can't just keep defending." Arya watched as humans and aliens debated strategy. It was still strange to see them working together, but it filled her with pride. Suddenly, Dr. Chen burst into the room. "We've made a breakthrough," she announced, her eyes shining with excitement. Everyone turned to look at her. "What kind of breakthrough?" General Chen asked. Dr. Chen activated a small device. A 3D image appeared, showing a strange, swirling energy pattern. "We've cracked the void's communication system," she explained. "We can now intercept and understand their messages." The room erupted in excited chatter. This was huge news. Understanding the enemy could change everything. Arya stepped forward. "What have we learned?" she asked. Dr. Chen's face grew serious. "The void, they're not just conquering for the sake of it. They're running from something. Something even they fear." A hush fell over the room. The idea that there might be something out there that scared even the void was chilling. General Chen was the first to recover. "This changes our strategy," he said. "We need to know more. Area, I want you to lead a team. Dive deep into these intercepted messages. Find out everything you can." Area nodded, feeling the weight of the responsibility. "I won't let you down, sir." Over the next few days, Area and her team worked tirelessly. They pored over void messages, piecing together bits of information. Slowly, a picture began to form. One evening, as Area was reviewing some data, she noticed something odd. A pattern in the void's attacks. She called her team together. "Look at this," she said, pointing to a map. "The void isn't just attacking random systems. They're searching for something. Something specific." A Xartian scientist leaned in, his four eyes widening. "By the stars, you're right. But what are they looking for?" Area shook her head. "I don't know yet, but I think it's the key to ending this war." Armed with this new information, Earth's forces began to change their tactics. Instead of just defending, they started predicting where the void would strike next. They set traps, ambushing void fleets when they least expected it. The tide of the war began to turn. More and more alien races joined the fight, inspired by Earth's leadership and bravery. The void found themselves on the defensive for the first time. But Area knew the real battle was yet to come. Whatever the void was searching for, whatever they were running from, that was the true threat. One day, as she was preparing a report for the Galactic Council, Area received an urgent message. A small human scout ship had made contact with a new alien race, one that had been hiding from the void for centuries. These aliens, calling themselves the Ancients, claimed to have knowledge about the void's origins. They requested a meeting with Earth's leaders. Area rushed to inform General Chen and the others. As she explained the situation, she could see the mix of hope and worry on their faces. "This could be the break we've been looking for," General Chen said. "Or it could be a trap." Area nodded. "Either way, we need to take the risk. It might be our only chance to truly understand what we're fighting." As preparations began for the meeting with the Ancients, Area couldn't help but feel that they were on the brink of something big. The war had brought the galaxy together in ways no one could have imagined. Humans, once dismissed as cowards, were now leading the charge against the greatest threat the universe had ever known. Whatever came next, Area knew one thing for certain. Humanity would face it head-on, with courage and determination. The galaxy was about to learn just how brave humans could be. The meeting with the Ancients took place on a neutral planet, far from both Earth and Void territory. Area stood beside General Chen and Dr. Chen, watching as the Ancient delegation approached. They were tall, graceful beings with skin that seemed to shimmer like starlight. The lead Ancient spoke, its voice soft but clear. "We have watched your struggle against the void with great interest. Your bravery is unexpected." General Chen stepped forward. "We're fighting for the survival of the galaxy. We'll do whatever it takes." The Ancient nodded. "Then it is time you knew the truth. The void, they are not conquerors. They are refugees." A gasp went through the human delegation. Area felt her mind reeling. "Refugees? From what?" "From the end of their universe," the Ancient replied. "They come from a reality that is dying. They seek a new home, at any cost." Dr. Chen's eyes widened. "That's what they've been searching for. A way to bring their entire civilization into our universe." The Ancient confirmed this, but their method would destroy this universe in the process. "We cannot allow this." General Chen's face hardened. "Neither can we." "How do we stop them?" The Ancients shared their knowledge. The location of the Void's main portal, the key to their invasion. If this portal could be closed, the Void would be cut off from their reinforcements. As they returned to Earth, plans were quickly made. This would be the final battle, the moment that would decide the fate of the universe. A combined fleet of Earth and its allies gathered. It was the largest assembly of ships the galaxy had ever seen. At its heart was a special task force, led by Area, carrying a device the Ancients had helped create, a universe-sealing bomb. As they approached the Void's stronghold, Arya felt a mix of fear and determination. This was what everything had been leading to. The battle that followed was like nothing Arya had ever seen. The sky lit up with weapons fire, ships darting and weaving in complex dances of destruction. The Void fought with the desperation of those who had everything to lose. Arya's team pushed forward, protected by waves of allied ships. Human bravery and alien technology combined in perfect harmony. Slowly, they made their way towards the massive portal at the heart of the Void's defenses. Just as they were about to reach their goal, a huge Void battleship appeared, blocking their path. For a moment, Arya felt despair. They had come so far, only to be stopped at the last moment. But then she heard General Chen's voice over the comm. "We'll clear the way. You get that bomb to the target." Arya watched in awe as the general's ship, along with a group of volunteers, charged the Void battleship head-on. It was a suicide mission, but it worked. The path was clear. With tears in her eyes, Arya gave the order. Her ship shot forward, straight towards the portal. They released the bomb just as the Void forces realized what was happening. There was a flash of light brighter than 1,000 suns. When Arya could see again, the portal was gone. The remaining Void ships drifted aimlessly, cut off from their home forever. The battle was over. They had won. In the days that followed, the galaxy celebrated. The Void threat was ended. Those Void ships that remained were offered sanctuary, a chance to live in peace in this new universe. At a ceremony held by the Galactic Council, Arya stood proud as humanity was honored. The council leader, Zorn, spoke with genuine respect. "We once called humans cowards," he said. "We were wrong. Humanity has shown us the true meaning of courage. From this day forward, Earth will be known as the protectors of the galaxy." As Arya looked out at the sea of faces, human and alien alike, she felt a sense of hope she had never known before. The galaxy had faced its greatest threat and emerged stronger, more united. And humanity, once dismissed and misjudged, had led the way. They had proven that true bravery wasn't about never feeling fear, but about facing that fear and doing what was right anyway. As the celebration continued around her, Arya smiled. The future was bright, full of possibilities, and whatever challenges it might bring, she knew that together they could face anything. The story of humanity's redemption was complete, but their journey, their adventures in this vast and wondrous galaxy, was just beginning.